look at that. All right. Hey, hold on.
Are you wearing your La Parka mask?
I do. Okay, hold on.
We're not streaming live now, are we? Discord is pretty cool. I guess we probably should have spent 10 minutes practicing it ourselves before today.
That's fine. We're all busy.
Ed, what beer are you drinking?
This Ninkasi Northwest Pale Pacific Rain. It's kind of new, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it before.
It's good. Right. I stopped with the IPAs because they just take a wrecking ball of your stomach and your brain and everything else.
I find when I drink the IPAs, a majority of the time I always drink Rolling Rock. I know you can bash me for it, but I find when I drink the IPA, if I drink one too many, yeah, it really gives me an extreme migraine the next day.
Fine line.
And yeah, it is a fine line. So it's a very fine line. So if I do drink an IPA, I have to be extremely careful. If I'm drinking Roller Rock, I can just drink as many. I'll wake up tomorrow and be fine. Piss water, they tell me.
I love the IPAs. It's just you're playing with fire. You have two of those, and you know
you're yeah, you are done. Anyways, I think both of you, Ed is, if you're watching this at home and keeping score at home, Ed is on the left of the videos, and then Matt is on the right. Correct? Yes, correct. Now,
Matt's in the red shirt.
That's a better way to do it. That is a better way to do it. Matt is in the red shirt, and Ed is in the non-red shirt.
Yeah.
And I won't try to pronounce their last names because I'll mess them up.
Yeah, Ed is fine. I'm Ed Cannell.
There you go. And Matt
Enton.
Enton.
We've been streaming like this whole time. We've been like,
yeah, we're fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's hard. It's hard. I really want to do wrestling stuff like this, like live reaction shows, interviews, all this other wrestling related stuff. But I have 3 girls. They're upstairs right now. One's asleep because baby. The other 2 are up watching, I don't know, some sort of stupid Christmas movie on Netflix. And the time is just not there anymore.
Is it Christmas Wedding Planner? Because I heard that's a pretty
no, it's Christmas Chronicles again, which isn't bad because you got Kurt Russell like dancing. You got a nice reference to Overboard in there. You got Kurt Russell, and then spoiler alert, Goldie Hawn shows up at the end. So there's.
We'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's on Netflix. Anyways, but that's not why you guys are here tonight. You guys are here tonight because I stumbled across. I don't even know how I stumbled across it, but I think I saw the word WRESTLETOPIA somewhere along the lines of wrestling Twitter. Which at times is toxic, but most of the time you can find a hidden gem, and I think I found that in what you guys provided. But before we jump into actual comic, are you guys wrestling fans? I mean, you must, right?
Yeah. So
what's your wrestling fandom background?
So Matt and I are a little different in just that I'm older than Matt. I'm 47. But so when I was a kid, there was no cable, but I was pretty lucky. Growing up in Portland, we had an NWA territory, Pacific Northwest Wrestling. So I stumbled upon that when I was very young, and was immediately enthralled with people like Jesse Ventura and Roddy Piper and Playboy Buddy Rose and Billy Jack Haynes and Bobby Jaggers and guys that aren't maybe super famous, but
Right.
but for me,
their characters are strong.
That's all we had. They were like, and they were like, they were huge for me, and I was pretty obsessed with it for several years. Later, when we got cable, this is kind of what started. This is when the territory started to fall apart because nationwide now everybody could get Superstation WTBS out of Atlanta,
Right.
which carried Georgia Championship Wrestling, the NWA territory down there, and then so now Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair and all those guys, the Four Horsemen, were on national television every Saturday. And
605.
Yeah, I was just absolutely obsessed with it and with the history of wrestling. And then I really fell out of it at age 14, and that's kind of where Matt came in.
Yeah, it was rock and wrestling era was in full swing when I was about 5 years old. So, I didn't have cable. I would watch in the morning, Saturday mornings, I'd watch Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. Saturday nights, I'd watch Saturday night's Main Event, and just whenever anything was on one of the prime, any of the major networks, I would catch it. Once we got cable, it was sort of the new generation era of WWF. And then I fell out a little bit. And then in high school, the Attitude Era sort of started in full swing. And that's when I got back into it. And I watched it pretty faithfully through, I'd say, the early 2000s. And that's sort of when I fell off. But, my sort of love for wrestling never dissipated. I still to this day, like I don't watch live events anymore, but I'm still like obsessed with reading wrestling news. And anytime WWE comes out with like a new documentary, I know they just did one on, which I haven't seen yet, on Adrian Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so like anytime like there's new wrestling content out there specifically like about wrestling history, like I'm there. Like I love Vice's most recent series.
Yeah, the Dark Side of the Ring, man, that's good.
Yeah.
That was really, really good.
Wrestling gave us so much.
It did, and like I tell my wife, because she harasses me that I'm still into it, and I was into it and fell out and came back. Everybody, I've always say this, everybody either is or was a wrestling fan. And that's how I see things. You either are or you were.
Yeah.
At some time. And your guys' dynamic in age is interesting because I think Ed is like about the age of my older brother. And yeah, he's a little younger. My older brother is 8 years older than me. I'm 39, I'm gonna be 40. And based on what Matt said he watched, we're either around the same age or maybe I'm a little older than he is. Either way, we all hit the same. We all were around the same time. But you guys don't watch the product now, or
I haven't. I mean, I haven't watched it in quite a long time. I kind of fell out of it. It was weird because when kayfabe died,
broke. Yeah, that's hard. That was hard to take, right?
It was a little bit like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. And
yeah,
because
spoiler,
I was a little kid and I saw the blood and I was totally convinced. I started watching it, I think, at a time when I had never been in a fight. I had never even. I was a little kid and went from being convinced this is absolutely real, not staged, not choreographed, excuse me, to you get a little older and like, oh, I want to believe that this is this is a real sports contest, and then of course and then but it was right about the time. So I don't. I think wrestling's fantastic, and I'm glad people love it now. I'm glad it's bigger than ever. And I'm not one of those people that says, "Oh, new wrestling is terrible." I just I can't enjoy it because it's not like it was when I was a kid. It's not like that at all. But it did take the wind kind of out of my sails, and it was really hard to kind of get that back. I keep up with it on Twitter, and I just appreciate the athleticism but it's hard for me to get into the storylines, and it's just I don't know. When that again, when you find out Santa Claus isn't real, it's hard to believe in him again.
And I think that's what a lot of people around our age, it is the storyline. The storylines drive wrestling, in my opinion. But you can jump in and out. It's like a soap opera. Yeah. So it's the men's soap opera. You don't have to watch. But it is, like I told my wife, it's like the golden age is coming back. There's so much now, and it's everywhere, and for every taste. You want the guys that can flip all over the ring. You got it.
The flip stuff blows my mind when I see the highlights.
It's unreal.
And then even just to see people like fall up, like I don't know how a single wrestler gets through a single match and is able to do anything else with their lives. Like I just look at fell off a 2-story ladder through a table.
They're up
and will never do anything, never walk again ever. And then like 2 days later, he's in Des Moines and he does the exact same thing.
2 days later, I've seen matches where a guy gets thrown off a ladder through a table, blah blah blah, and he's up later in that match. That guy should not be up. Like that's the whole art of selling. Like he should not get up.
I don't know how is Darby Allin still alive? Man, look at the stuff that he does.
I have zero idea, because I tell you, where did I catch? He was on a documentary. I think first.
So before Dark Side of the Ring,
right? It was called.
Vice did a different wrestling series that I actually think is almost better.
Yeah, it was. That's where I saw Darby Allin. I can't remember the name of it though.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it. And then now of course he signed with the AEW.
Right.
But that was back when he was just on the indie circuit.
I think I heard a quote from someone about Darby Allin. It might have been the guys that did the series. They were shocked that he's not dead yet. Like knock on wood. Like the stuff he does is insane. But I don't know. I mean, I appreciate Darby Allin for what he does. That type of flipping is not my cup of tea. But anyways, so you guys do have a great grasp of wrestling. I knew that before I asked the question. I knew that based on what I've read in your guys' comics. What's your guys' background in comics? In writing?
It's pretty brief. So
you're looking at it.
That's it. Well, okay. So let me rephrase the question. If I'm looking at it, let me rephrase the question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Why a comic as opposed to, I don't know, a book? Like why write in the comic genre, I guess?
So the short answer is so that people will read it, right? So Matt and I our day job is writing for video games. We've done that since the early 2000s.
Video game reviews, or
we write we write stories.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We've done that. So a few things we've worked on together. We've worked on a lot of things separately because we both freelance, but we've worked together on Leisure Suit Larry Magna Cum Laude.
Oh my lord,
that game. Valiant Hearts for Ubisoft. Great World War I drama. A lot of other titles. So it's a visual medium. But we've also written other things. Like we've written screenplays, and when you write a screenplay or when you write a novel, no one cares and no one wants to read it at all. Like your parents don't want to read it.
Right.
We love the story so much that we just could not let it fade away into the ether. It was a screenplay originally, and we just thought, comics is a visual medium. That's what we do. We write for artists. We could afford it, just if we want, it's an enormous waste of money, but we were able to pay artists to draw this insane story about alien wrestlers from outer space who invade Earth, And then we thought, we could put it out into the world, and if you give someone a comic book, they're a lot more likely to read it. I'll be like, 32 pages of a comic book, you can pass the, you can read that it's pretty easy to read. It's not like giving them like a 120-page screenplay where they just feel like you just slimed them with.
Like it's a grind to get through it.
Right. Yeah. So that's not that's the long answer, I guess. It was supposed to be the short answer. It turned into a long answer.
It was short. It was good enough. I love graphic novels. I know my oldest daughter, she reads graphic novels all the time, so it is easy to consume. And I think you guys made the right choice with the niche of wrestling and graphic novels together. I even have another one around here somewhere. But the name of it is Invasion from Planet WRESTLETOPIA, and I think you touched on it. How planet of wrestlers, basically. We'll go back. The story focuses around Rory, rock and roll Rory. And if I can, and if I mess up, you guys just step in. Let me see. Rock and roll Rory, is guaranteed a title shot. Not only a title shot, but he's predicted to win until what I look at as another Montreal screw job, and they're not going to give him the title, and blah blah blah. So this is what happens in issues 1 and 2. So let me hit that link so people can get those on Comixology. So he's told now he's not going to win. He gets all upset. He wants to sabotage his affiliation with AWF. So he botches an interview and claims himself the Galactic Champion, I believe are the words you guys use.
Galactic Champion of the Universe.
The Galactic Champion of the Universe, which is great because I believe he made the belt out of, was it a cereal box or a pizza box? A pizza box. And I laugh because me and my younger brothers used to do that all the time because that cardboard's the best. You rip it off, you cut it in the shape you want, you write on it, you know? Yeah, so I related with that. So I might get my timeline out of order here, but so he claims that, and then he gets fired from AWF. He goes into a tumble, hits the rock bottom, no pun intended. He's drinking, he's fighting in bars and fighting at local events and stuff like that for nothing. And then flash forward, I think.
Yeah.
In 15 years later, Planet WRESTLETOPIA gets this transmission. They must be monitoring Earth. They get the transmission. Somebody has claimed to be the Galactic Champion of the Universe, and they can't have it. And my favorite part of, there's the comic right there. You know, if I was really good, I would have had a better overlay, and I would have put the actual PDF up. And we could have been great, but obviously whoever came to the start of this show realized we're not good at anything. My favorite part of the entire, one of my favorite parts is they're putting like a steel, are they putting a steel cage around Earth?
Yeah.
We're having a steel cage match, right?
They vastly overestimated our technology. They invade that we're just gonna like hop in our ships and try to escape the planet. But that was one of the first images that Ed kind of had for this, and he's like, for no apparent reason, I don't know why, put a steel cage around Earth, and I'm like, okay, I'm sold. Let's do this.
I'll tell you, that's what got me hooked on it when I started reading it because it's bold. You suspend disbelief right off the bat. Just throw that right out the window. And I'm like, a cage match around Earth? Hell yeah. I'm ready to defend. And so I'm paraphrasing a lot. So anybody goes to Comixology, picks this up, read the whole thing. The character development in ARC so far is great. But what I love the most is so they come down and they're looking for Rory. You know, he's a claimed to be champion, and because I think the issue is, and correct me if I'm wrong, there can only be one galactic champion of the universe.
Yeah, there can only be one, and so the WrestleTopian Galactic Champion. I mean, the reason he put the cage around is he's coming to Earth. And
what was that? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Did you say? So yeah, there can only be one. So when this situation happens, the Galactic Champion from WrestleTopia, whose name is Manifest Destiny,
that's what it is.
It's basically a title unification bout, right? It's a galactic championship unification bout, and it's going to take place on Earth. There's a picture of man. You can see it.
Yep. So, yeah, that guy. So, yes, there can only be one. It is a unification because once he claimed the champion, then the match has to be fought.
It's written in stone, right?
Written in stone.
Like the contract when they come and sign the contract.
That's right. And I think where we are now in there's been 4 issues so far. Oh, 3, I think. Is the 4th actually technically out?
Yeah.
Okay.
All 4 on Comixology.
Awesome. So all 4 are out. There is going to be a pay-per-view, and let me get this straight. The Vince McMahon of Earth, basically, Mr. Let me see my notes. Drazen. Dick Drazen. Is asked or demanded find Rory so he can fight in the match. And it's like a win-win for him, right? Like he's gonna get Earth, correct? Isn't?
Yeah. So Rory. So when Rory decides, he gets pissed at his promoter Dick Drazen, and decides the best way to get back to him is to kind of like no-show this pay-per-view where he was supposed to wrestle for the belt and do a job for the current champion, Boy Scout Bob Schultz, right? This sort of clean-cut champ Dick Drazen wants to hang on to. So he cuts his promo. I'm the Galactic Champion of the Universe, brother. I don't care about the world title. And goes off, goes and hits hard times. The TV signal goes out into space. Like you said, 15 years Earth is paying the price for this promo. So the WrestleTopians naturally go to Rory's, last known boss, his last known promoter, and say, where is he? And Dick Drazen, being kind of the opportunist that he doesn't know where Rock and Roll Rory is. No one does. But he's smart enough to leverage this whole situation to say, let me put the Galactic Championship title, unification belt, you versus Rory. Let me put that on paper. And so he's essentially charging people $19.95 to see the fate of the planet.
Right. I'd pay for that.
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah, so you're going to have to pay for
it. It was smart. You give him that.
Pretty cheap, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I paid like $150 for that. I mean,
I know.
The fate of life hangs in the balance.
Right? I mean, I paid $60.
No.
I paid $60 for WrestleMania 8, and that thing sucked.
You make a really good point. We probably, we may have to change that when we print it.
Yeah, but in today's streaming day and age, I think $19.95 was the right thing. It was well done. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's it. So kind of like those are the stakes. Like Rory has to. He's sort of drinking himself to death in a bar in like New Mexico when this all happens. And then, so you Manifest Destiny comes to Earth, hijacks the live broadcast of a TV show, and lets everyone on the planet know that what's going on. Right? He cuts a promo basically to call Rory out, and Rory's got to make his way from Mexico. He's got 72 hours to show up for his match against Manifest Destiny to see who the one true galactic champion is going to be, and then it get, like every good wrestling story, complicated because there are certain WrestleTopians who don't want him to show for the match,
and this is what happened in
yeah. So it's but it will end. Obviously, I mean, it's a little spoilery, but obviously, it is going to end up with Rory versus Death 1-on-1 in the squared circle, with the fate of the planet on the line, and that's issue 6. We actually, so 4 issues are on Comixology. The 5th will be released December 11th, and the 6th and final issue will complete the whole arc. Will take a little more time because it's this 45-page beat, but it's coming out hopefully February, and that'll be the end of this particular storyline. Anyway,
I mean, that sounds. I wish I was as talented as you guys because it sounds amazing to me. As I read this, I jotted down a ton of notes which I have attempted to follow, and I didn't follow so well. So I'm just gonna jump back to the things that I really loved about it. One of the things I really loved is all of like the inside wrestling Easter eggs, like 70s, 80s, 90s Easter eggs. That you can find in there. It's interesting. There's Mini Macho Man. There's Damian Sandow, early 90s type of stuff. I think he was an investor or something. That stuff is just. Go ahead.
Damian Sandow. Early wrestling promoters.
Yeah. It's that type of stuff that I loved. The artwork, which I suck because I didn't write down the guys' names.
We should mention on the first 3 issues we had Dan Scott as our artist, with David Vaughn doing inks on issue 3, and they're phenomenal. Dan was great. He knew nothing of wrestling when he started.
Interesting, because I thought his artwork in those first 3 episodes, the first three, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I thought his artwork matched what I was reading. It was bold, it was retro, it was perfect in my mind.
He did a great job. People compared it to the Venture Brothers. His art style.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And for those first 3 issues, it was Marissa Louise doing the super talented. There's a lot of stuff for like DC and Dark Horse and other people, and David Lamphere doing the letters. So we hired a really talented crew of professionals, which is why we're so broke. But they were really great. And then for the 4th issue, Dan got really busy with his own webcomic. So we have Kendall Good, who actually was the artist for a number of the WWE comics put out by Boom.
Oh.
And he's the artist for WrestleTopia 4, 5, and we had a guest colorist, Jason Lewis, for number 4, who I should mention. He did a great job. And then, for 5 and 6, we've got a colorist named Gio Butler, who's amazing. We can't wait for people to see her color. And a new letterer. We have Sal Cipriano lettering comics.
There's so much.
A lot of different artists, but I really had wanted to make sure.
Yeah. No, good. Good, because I was not very good at it. Although they did a phenomenal job. I just there's only so many notes you can take when the ladies are punching each other.
It's a lot, but we're really, really proud of the job that all those guys did, and Kendall. I mean, we love Dan's art. Kendall been really great. Really, you can see his work in issue 4. We're really excited for people to see what he's done since then. That was his first. First yeah.
He'll get better. He'll just catch up, and his art will start reflecting the story.
It's hard to take over. He said it's hard to take over what someone else was doing. And
Yeah, it was a tough position.
Yeah, all the character concepts have been decided, and he's doing phenomenal.
Well, Kendall did get to do 3D. He got to design 3D. And,
yeah, I got to design some characters. That's true.
Yeah,
yes, we have
and
introduced some characters with issue.
Billy Mangrum.
Yeah.
There was some other things that I literally laughed out loud as I was reading. I just want to mention. You guys can comment if you want. I have suplexing of tanks. I thought that was amazing, and I thought that was amazing because if the wrestlers from WRESTLETOPIA could suplex tanks,
sure.
We don't really stand a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know how Rory is gonna match that.
Yeah, I mean, we decided that for creating, if a WrestleTopian hassles you on the street and you drop kick them, you will hurt them, and they will take, like, you'll hurt them. If you take out a gun and shoot them, it does, like, and I don't know why that makes any sense, but
it's I don't think it should. I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It can only be defeated through the wrestling arts.
Right. And then my most favorite site, all 4 issues, Santa Claus in a figure 4 leg lock. Because who hasn't wanted to lock Santa in a figure 4 leg lock? I mean, I have.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my favorite wrestling memories, when a wrestler disguised themselves as Santa.
Yes.
Ringside for like the entire show, and then during the main event, jumped into the ring, Jack Haynes with a tire iron. And I'm like 12 years old. I mean, I kind of know, but you're still a kid, and it's just like, and then of course the Santa takes off his beard and his hat, and it's Rip the Crippler Oliver. So
that is old.
Yeah, I had just putting Santa Claus in there was that's what
you had to. You almost had to. And to go back to the art and how great the art was, and how Venture Brothers type of stuff. One of the other things that popped into my head as I was reading it was, man, this could have been like animated miniseries on like Adult Swim or anywhere. Do you guys have any plans for anything like that if it was approached to you? Like,
actually, so we wrote it as a screenplay first.
You're right. And when you guys mentioned that earlier, that's the first thing that popped in my head.
But we actually sort of did write a treatment where it was an animated series.
What's the treatment? Because
it's basically like a pitch document.
Okay.
You write the first episode, and then you kind of run down. You give like a document with the characters and kind of like the whole arc of the.
Okay.
So we actually did put together, like, because we thought like, oh, this is such an Adult Swim idea.
I could see it.
Yeah, we didn't really end up doing much with that, and a lot of the ideas that we brought to that treatment ended up going into the comic, because that was something we could afford to do. Whereas like putting together the first episode of an animated series would have cost us, I don't know, $400,000, $500,000. Yeah. Wow. And then you're betting on yourself,
Yeah, you're gambling.
Adult Swim's interested in picking it up as a series. But part, like we're with Starburns Industries Press, and which is, they do Rick and Morty. It's Dan Harmon and Dino Stamatopoulos' company, and they basically sort of look at the titles that they're signing, at intellectual properties that have the potential to be expanded to other mediums. So, even though right now everything that what we're doing and everything else they've been publishing are just comics, they kind of have like a bigger picture that these things could be developed as TV series or movies or video games, whatever. They're like comic book imprint is kind of their test lab for these intellectual property that they've signed.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, what we really wanted to do with the comic was just put it out there. We're like, this, we don't want to let this story die, and we figured with the comic book you can put it out there in the world. We self-published the first, like we paid the artist, we had it made, and then we just put it up on Amazon. And we had it on Comixology when it was just ourselves, and very few people would find it, but it was out there in the world, and that felt great, right?
That's funny because that's how I read all my comics. Like unless I have something physical, I read all my comics on my iPad, and Comixology is what I use.
Yeah, what we found was that when we were doing self-publishing, I mean, we had it on iBooks and Comixology and Amazon Kindle,
right?
But the one that would sell the best was Amazon's print on demand. You could buy a printed copy from Amazon. They would basically print it and then send it to you.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and it's really expensive because I think we had it at the most minimum price we could and still make like any money. And I think it was something like you would have to buy it for $7, and then we would get like 50 cents. But we thought, hey, we wanted to have the option for people, and it was cool. But it was, obviously an expensive way for us to sell them, and an expensive way for people to buy them. But that was our best selling which was interesting.
Yeah, I never knew that. I never knew they would. That is interesting.
Yeah.
So you guys are coming up. You've got 4 issues out. I keep saying episodes because I think of it as a show. You have 4 issues out. You said the 5th, December 11th, 6th, which is a mega pages. I think 45 or so.
Yeah.
Around
basically
February. Yeah.
Double issue extravaganza.
Which will wrap it all up. Now the big question is, what comes next?
Well, Matt and I have fallen in love with making comics. This whole experience has been great because number one, it's just been great to put WRESTLETOPIA out there and see the response. The response has been phenomenal. It's been great response from wrestling fans.
Right.
We really love it, but also just from comic book fans. And we hear so many times, you don't have to be a wrestling fan to really.
No, I don't think so. It's got a lot of sci-fi into it.
Yeah, and it's and it's a comedy action about wrestlers from outer space, and a little kind of like Mars Attacks or maybe Quest meets wrestling thing that we heard. And that's a lot of fun. What it's also been really refreshing for Matt and I is coming from video games where we really work on other people's projects, and we love our day job working in games, but it is instead of working with 4 artists, you're working with like 50, and instead of writing like a linear story, there's all branching narratives and clear input, and writing just a linear collaborating with a couple people, and then also obviously just really being able, like, there's Matt and I can do whatever we want. It's our it's our content. There's almost no barrier between us and the audience. It's been kind of intoxicating. We want to do more comics, but we certainly hope we're hoping will happen to WRESTLETOPIA, that maybe it will get adapted to an animated show or something, so much that's the primary goal. But it's like, if we could make our money back we would make more comics. We would make more WRESTLETOPIA comics. We would make other comics. We have other that we love and that we're working on. It would be really exciting to keep doing this and not go completely broke.
Hard to do something you love and not go broke.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, with that being said, what a phenomenal way to end. I have covered all my notes. I also promise all my guests I will not keep them more than an hour.
Oh, it's an hour. Oh, yeah.
Well, it did fly by. Give or take our 10 minutes of ironing things out. But I want to thank you guys because you guys have done something cool for me besides putting out this lovely comic that I enjoy reading. I now can have two people. If I ever interview someone as two people, look, you guys are there. It looks fine in the overlay. It's great. You guys drank some beer with me. I love it.
Anytime.
And yeah, anytime. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to give you guys the forum. You can plug what you want. You can do what you want, and then I'll cut you guys free. So go ahead. Floor is yours.
So yeah, we're on Twitter at SBP_comics. We're also on Tumblr at Suspicious Behavior Productions. We're on Facebook and Instagram too, but those accounts are not as active. So Twitter and Tumblr are the two best ways to follow us. Other than that, as we said, December 11th, issue 5 comes out. You can always go to Comixology. You get the first 4 right now to catch. And then be on the lookout, issue 6, hopefully in February. And we will be doing a trade paperback that collects all the issues. Of course, any of the bonus content, which I'm sure you saw, like the fake ads and stuff, that stuff is exclusive to the individual digital issues. But there will be new bonus content in the trade paperback. We are hoping for a spring release on that. And I don't know, Ed, anything else you want?
No, that covers it pretty well. Like Matt said, find our issues in Comixology. They'll have some exclusive bonus material that we really worked hard on. I think it's really cool, really funny. The trade will have some exclusive back. But if you want to find out what happened when a disgruntled pro wrestler declares himself galactic champion in the universe, and his promo.
I mean, it's got a movie written all over it. Sure does.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see David Arquette going up, getting disgruntled. Everyone's pushing him down, harassing him for being WCW champion. He's like, screw this. I declare myself galactic champion of the universe.
Yeah, he's back into wrestling.
It's so great.
He really needs to pull it off.
It really is good. Matt, Ed, I want to thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting up, with the kids, the technical difficulties. You guys, I think you guys understand, and I understand. So it was great.
Thanks so much.
All right, and now, I'll see you guys around. We'll be in touch.
Take care.
All right, later.
Bye.
Later. Okay, let's All right, there we go. Excellent. That was fun. I enjoyed talking to them. I love the comics, so if you guys haven't, or let me know. You can contact me in the Discord. I'll direct you guys where to find it. Funnier than shit, man. Love it. But so much love to Ed and Matt, and I also want to give another little shout out to Ed too. Ed said we were working things out ahead of time. Said Matt is more entertaining. Ed held his own tonight, man. Gotta love it, right? So we'll finish up here. I'm putting you over.